everybody, my name is Chad, and this is Common Good Cocktail Guide Mezcal Edition. The purpose of this cocktail guide segment is to teach you a little bit about the basics of the spirit, and then I just want to share with you what I love about it and why we use and how we use this wonderful spirit category at Common Good. So first of all, what is Mezcal? A lot of people I've had come into the bar and say, you know, I like tequila, but I don't like mezcal. That's actually incorrect. Tequila is under the blanket of mezcal, like bourbon, scotch, rye. They're all under the umbrella of whiskey. So if we pull back the camera here a little bit, mezcal is this umbrella where other designations and more specifications legally for requirements in distillation regarding where it's distilled, how it's distilled, what it's distilled from, come into play. And that's why mezcal, I think, is probably my favorite spirit category, and probably has been ever since I tried it first, taking a tequila college in New York City about 12 years ago. Mezcal, when it's not specified on the label, is almost always going to be the varietal Espadín. When mezcal is made into what we know as tequila, we'll call it the varietal Blue Weber agave, or Tequiliana Weber. But this varietal is going to have, as far as I know, the highest yield of sugar content of any of the agave varietals that might go into a distillation. And so that's why it can produce the most. It's the highest yield. It's most regulated by the government of all mezcals. And then you have a lot of different ways that different mezcaleros have gone about making their mezcals, and not all of them are actually offered to us. Mezcal is a little bit of an endangered spirit, and that's because of the irresponsibility of some large companies trying to just get as much of it into the States as possible. And it's for at least one very simple reason, and then a lot of other complex reasons. The very simple reason is that mezcal and agave plants that go into making it, but it takes a long time to make. So even some of the most basic varietals of agave are going to take at minimum 4 years to mature. On average, probably 6, and there's some varietals that take upwards of 40 years to reach maturity. Like, that's crazy. Picture if corn took that long to grow. Bourbon would cost like $1,000. Yet these mezcaleros have devoted their life to either finding these wild and beautiful varietals of agave, cultivating themselves, and making it in traditional ways for sometimes traditional reasons. And we oftentimes don't really recognize all those reasons in the States. We're not aware of them. And so I wanted to show you just behind the bar here at Common Good a few of them that we love. So first up is sort of our cocktailing mezcal, and it's not cocktailing because it's less quality. We don't even believe in the concept of having a well spirit, like, oh, this is our like basic, cheap, not good expression of this type of alcohol, so we use it in the well for basic cocktails. Everything that we have in our well is high quality, and this is one of them, Ryu. This is going to be 100% Espadín, and so lists the mezcalero with a picture of him there. It even talks on the back about like, it's from Oaxaca. It talks about how old the Espadín is at 7 years, what they use to cut it, what they use to cook it, what they use to crush it, and how they ferment it and distill it. So when you're looking for like good mezcal, I think maybe a good rule of thumb is if you find it at a liquor store for less than 20 bucks a bottle, someone's getting ripped off somewhere. And if you can find it, honestly, where they tell you the story about who it comes from, it's probably even better. So we have here, going forward from just sort of like a basic but good mezcal that's cooked in a stone oven, which gives it that smoky flavor. It sort of branches out, and we can look at single varietals of mezcal. And so here, gracias a Dios, they've got their Tepextate. One of my favorite varietals. It's a little bit more almost like aloe cactus, like very like floral, has like bright notes, but also it's just like a beautiful silky mouthfeel the way they made it. Into single village expressions that Del Maguey, I don't know if popularized, but they definitely like led the way in making sure that we knew the terroir of each mezcal that can exist between villages and the way each mezcalero chooses to interact with their own cultivated and foraged varietals of agave to a style of agave called pechuga that is either used in religious ceremonies with turkey or chicken breast hanging with like nuts and berries, and then the fumes from the alcohol vapors pass through them and it gets all this flavor. And this is actually a vegan pechuga, so you can have vegan pechugas as well where they don't actually use meat. And then we even have here, this is a still proof Tobola, so a wild cultivated varietal that takes upwards of 20-25 years to mature, coming off the still, uncut, brought to us, very rare. We have it in a cocktail for the winter. It's beautiful. On this one, this mezcal, Benuelos, this one is just funky. Has that wild fermentation, almost tastes like a cheese because of how funky it is. So mezcal can range from being varietal specified. It can be village or terroir based. It can be designated sort of based off of the style in which they make it, sometimes highlighting mezcaleros, but maybe a couple takeaways that I'd want someone watching to come away with would be make sure either you talk to a bartender to get recommendations on the sustainability of a particular brand, or a liquor store. Make sure you ask them if they're aware of the sustainability that any particular brand has, because the agave takes so long to mature. If a brand isn't consciously replanting and making sure that they are planting enough agave to replace what they are picking, we're not going to have mezcal in 10-15 years in the States, at least not at the volume and range that we have it today. And even in Mexico, there's issues with production right now and sustainability. So make sure you're looking at sustainability. Make sure that you are supporting brands that also do care about that, because that is how we're going to have it going forward. And then when it comes to like cocktailing, because it has such a wide range of flavors, ranging from like smoke bombs that taste like tires to like flowers that like might be like somewhat near a fire pit, like a mile away. Mezcal can like have such a dramatic range to it. Don't put a blanket coloring sheet over it and saying this is what mezcal is. Mezcal can taste like so many different things and can express itself so beautifully. I think of all spirits, potentially I think it has the most terroir expressed in it, or a place from where it comes from. So that is what I have to say about it. That's why I love this spirit. That's why we cocktail with it and try to honor the ingredients and the work that goes into it, and that we hope you do too.